In this video, I'm going to show you the one step that decides whether everything else you build for your holistic practice actually works or just feels like effort with nothing coming back to you. Most practitioners think the way to grow is to do more of what they already know, posting more, try harder, with the resources they already have. But the problem is not the effort, it's that without a clear direction in place, you are not building anything, you are just reacting to whatever idea comes up next. I know this because I went through it myself. When my last job ended, I had no direction and no plan. And for months, I was making under $600 until I got clear, client by client, on exactly who I help and why. So in this video, I will walk you through why direction works like a compass for your practice and the questions you need to ask yourself that actually get you there. This is part 1 of a 5-video series that walks you from doing it all alone, teaching, marketing, content, admin, and putting in so much energy without seeing it come back to you, to having a connected system that actually grows your practice consistently with a clear plan that takes less effort and gets you there faster. So you don't have to be active 24/7. Most practitioners I talk to are doing a little bit of everything all the time. A post here, an idea there, a freebie they started and never finished, an email they send once and then forgot about. And in between, the actual classes and trainings, which take most of the energy anyway. It's not that you are not doing anything, it's that you are doing a bit of everything and doesn't add up to anything specific. And honestly, this makes complete sense. You are using what you know with the resources you have right now. You see an idea and you try it. Someone tells you to post more, you post more. It feels like effort, and it is effort, but the energy you put in doesn't come back to you the way you would expect. Here's when this actually clicked for me. When the startup I was working for ran out of money, I was left with no job, no income, and nothing lined up except something I would start building on the side. For months, I was making under $600 a month. And that time, I thought the problem was that I wasn't trying hard enough. So I look at what other people were doing and try to copy their strategies, try to copy their content, their structure. A few weeks in, of course, nothing happened. I see no results. So I would stop, because in the meantime, I would read something else or find another video to watch, and I think I needed to try that instead. So I kept changing what I was doing depending on whatever new information I would come across. Today someone else's strategy, tomorrow a different video, and so on, because I didn't have my own plan, my own structure. What I didn't see at the time was that I was copying people with completely different goals than mine. It wasn't built for me, so it couldn't work for me. And because none of it came from anything real, I burn out fast. It's hard to keep doing something for long when it doesn't feel like your own. What actually changed things was getting clear, client by client, on exactly who I was helping and why. Slowly, step by step, a little clearer each time. And to be honest, my own direction still isn't fully finished, but it's clear enough that I knew what to do next. And that's actually why you are watching this video right now. And that's the difference. Once you have a real direction, even an early version of it, everything else starts pointing the same way. Your content, your offers, your website, it all follows the same path instead of changing direction every time a new idea shows up. Without it, you are just reacting. So that's what this video is actually about. It's not about posting more, it's not about trying harder, but getting that direction in place first. And I will walk you through exactly how. When you don't have your own direction yet, copying feels like the safe move. someone is getting results, so you take their post style, their offer structure, their content angle, and you apply it to your own practice. Here's the problem with that. The person you are copying build that content around their own goals, and those goals are probably not the same as yours. I will give you an example. I work with two practitioners right now who are built completely differently. One has her own physical studio, and her main focus is filling high-ticket trainings and retreats in person. The other has no studio at all. He teaches in different locations across the city, and he's building an online presence that drives people towards his in-person classes across multiple locations and his regular online classes. If either of them copied the other's content strategy, it wouldn't work. But not because the content is bad, but because it's built for a different destination. One, it's built around in-person trust and high-ticket offers. The other, it's built around an online presence that drives people towards in-person and online classes. Same industry, same kind of practice, completely different goals. So, when you copy someone else online, you are not just copying their content, you are copying their destination without knowing if it's even where you are trying to go. Which brings us to the actual question you need to answer first. And it's simpler than you would think, but most practitioners skip it. So here's where the direction actually starts. And it's one question. Who exactly are you trying to help? The instinct is to answer with your practice. I help people who do yoga, or I work with people interested in sound healing. That feels true because that's literally what you do. But it's not a person, it's a topic. And a topic doesn't tell anyone if your practice is for them. A specific person looks completely different. Something like, I help corporate professionals who can't switch off and struggle to sleep. Or I help people going through a stressful life transition who feel disconnected from their body. That's a real situation. That's someone who reads it and thinks, that's me. So the question isn't what do you teach? The question is who is actually struggling with what, and what does their situation actually look like that you can help through your practice. It's not their age, it's not the city they live in, it's their actual reality. Once you can answer that clearly, you are halfway there. But there's one more thing your direction depends on before it's actually solid. Have you actually lived this or helped someone else go through it for real? You can talk from your own experience and use that as your example. Or you've already helped someone else and gotten them results and use that as your example instead. This matters because direction that isn't grounded in something real falls apart the moment someone asks you a real question. If you are describing a transformation you've never seen happen, either in yourself or in one of your clients, you are just guessing, and people can feel that. This doesn't mean you need 10 years of experience. It means you need one real example you can point to. Either yourself at the beginning of your journey, maybe what made you start practicing what you practice today, or a client you've actually helped with results you've actually seen happen. We are not talking about theory or what should work. We are talking about something that's already true, and you can use it as your example. If you can't point to something real yet, that's not a problem, and it's not a reason to wait or feel pushed back. It's actually a reason to look closer at the people you've already been working with. Because the proof you are looking for, it's probably closer than you think. It's right in front of you. You just need to point it out. Once your direction is grounded in something real, the next piece is what actually makes your version of this different from anyone else practicing something similar. So once you know who you help and you know that this is grounded in something real, now comes the part that most practitioners either skip or rush. What actually makes your version of this different from someone else teaching the same thing? And here's why this matters. There are a lot of yoga teachers, a lot of sound healers, a lot of practitioners offering something similar to a similar kind of person. If you sound and look the same as everyone else in your space, the only thing left to compete is the price. And that's not the situation you want to be in. So the real question comes down to this. What's the specific thing about how you teach, who you teach, or what results you actually deliver that someone else cannot just copy? It has to be something real. It has to be something that comes from your actual experience and the way you actually work, not something you invented because it sounds good on paper. And just as important as what you do is what you wouldn't do. Let me explain this. What type of content, what type of client, what type of approach doesn't feel like you? Because the boundaries you set are just as defining as the choices you make. When you are clear about what you are not and what you don't want to be perceived as, the right people find you faster and the wrong people stop wasting your time. Once you know who you help, why your practice is real, and what makes it yours, there is one last thing left to do. Put it into something you can actually say it out loud. So now we've got three things: who you help, why your practice is real, and what makes it yours. The last step is putting all of that into one sentence, something you can actually say out loud, and we will call it your direction statement. This is the part that sounds simple, but it's actually the hardest. Because you spend so much time in your own head about your practice, what you do, why you do it, who it's for. And trying to compress all of that into one sentence, it either comes out too broad or way too complicated. Here's why this matters so much. This one sentence becomes the anchor for everything, for your content, for your website, for your offers. All of it should point back to it. If you can't say it clearly, neither your audience can understand it. And if they can't understand it, they will move on. Here's a simple structure to use. I help specific person. Go from before state to after state through your practice. You don't have to use this exact wording. If other words feel more like you, use those. What matters is that it answers three things: who you work with, where they are when they come to you, and where they are after they practice what you do. And here's the part I want you to actually listen carefully to. You don't need to get this right on the first try. Direction is not something you do once and finish. It's something you build at whatever stage you are at with your practice, and it keeps evolving as you grow. You don't need to be 100% certain to start. You just need to be clear enough to build from, to have an idea of what your next step is. We've done now the thing most practitioners never actually sit down to do. You know who you help, why your practice is real, what makes it yours, and you've got a direction statement to anchor everything else to. Here's the honest part. Doing this in a video, it's one thing, but applying it to your specific practice, your specific situation, your specific offers, That's where it actually gets more complex. And that's exactly where most people get stuck. Because of this, I'm building a community specifically for holistic practitioners who want to grow their practice and are going through exactly this. It's completely free and you can join through the link down below. You can just come hang out there and ask me any question. I'm actually excited to hear where you are with your practice and where you would like to take it. So, direction isn't something you figured out later, it's the foundation everything else stands on. Without knowing who you help, why it's real, and what makes it yours, everything else you build it's just noise. But here's the thing, having a clear direction is only the first step. Once you know who you are talking to and what you are offering, you need a place to send people, somewhere they can land, understand what you do immediately, and know exactly what to do next. That's your website, and most practitioners are making mistakes with it that are costing them clients without even knowing it. I'm covering exactly that in the next video. If this is something you want to learn more about, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.